ability. There was actually builds going around on live where people were going even Sunfire first and things like this. It actually had a very high win rate, even though it seemed pretty strange. People do Protobelt builds into Gunblade and kind of hybrid builds and AP builds and full AD builds. So there's certainly lots of ways to play it. I think that if you do go the Duskblade full assassin type Shaco, it certainly becomes very difficult in the late game to play those team fights, but you can always go off into kind of split push type setups.
We are back into Champion Select now for the remade Champion Select. Remember that the players and teams are going to be locking in identical champions for the first time you saw this song and dance, with the exception of the final pick from FlyQuest will be allowed to be changed to whichever mid laner they deem appropriate for high.
Yeah, so everyone's just going to be going right through this very, very quickly. And I'm assuming we are going to see the Anivia from high, as that is what he intended to pick first time around. But that said, I'm not sure that he is actually locked into having to do that because it was the accidental selection of Azir.
Everything else going to be exactly the same down to the order. Sometimes you see things like this happen and they just end up locking in the same champions, but not necessarily in the same order. This time it's point for point, man, exactly to the letter. These teams were doing it as a carbon copy up until this very last step. Alltech locking in the Shaco. This is the part where we go, oh man, look, it's a Shaco. And then coming up is the part where we're going to go, oh man, look, it's a Kled.
Do we have to cast the champion select the same because they have to lock it in the same?
Because they have to lock it.
I feel like we've already failed if we.
Yeah, we've already failed if we had to actually do that because we're kind of
we've gone off the rails completely.
Kind of just lollygagging our way through here now, waiting for this final pick. All right, here. Now's the one we're actually paying attention to.
Drum roll, please. Anivia.
Anivia it is. Locked in on the side of FlyQuest. He got the right bird this time. We're 56 seconds away from actually jumping in. So how do you compare these two picks? What do you think the Anivia is going to bring that the Azir will not?
I mean, I think that there's more early game power. There's safe wave clear. I actually think that there's kind of higher playmaking in combination with some of these picks as far as using the wall for early ganks. If you want to actually attack mid lane, I think that something like a level 3, level 4 Anivia, that's a lot more powerful gank assist than the Azir was, right? So I think that's one of the big changes. This to me looks like a lane you can attack. That means that both the solo lanes are great options for Moon to play around. If you can land the box sphere coming in or the Anivia Q that's stun, you can layer the other one very easily onto it and threaten the victor with pretty easy first bloods.
And that removes kind of that problem we were talking about last game where, oh, it's just going to be top. He's going to be ganking top. That's the only lane that can actually help him gank. Now you've got a couple of different ones. Now with different opportunities there, with different options there, you can keep him guessing a little bit more.
Yeah, you certainly can. I think it's kind of going to give them more options in the mid game, the early game, to be able to kind of get Sivir to that 6-item stage. And I think this is going to be a pretty interesting game.
And even though we think of Azir as like the definition of a late game champion, the definition of a scaling champion, Anivia is not exactly a champion that you can just disregard in the late game either. The damage that she can put down and the plays she can make with a well-placed wall can be late game victory points.
Yeah, it certainly can. And similar points apply for the Kled. We talked about the Azir ult disengage on the Kled ult. You can actually just drop the Anivia wall across that and he'll just go smack into that, I do believe. I don't think that he'll actually get to run through it. So that is an interaction we'll have to actually track there too, because if Kled cannot get in, it's certainly much more difficult for him to find those good pickoffs.
Here we go. You can hear the crowd. They're excited. We're excited. It's game number 2 of Phoenix1 versus FlyQuest. Phoenix1 with their victory in game number 1 means they only have to find one more win, and they'll take the series and take the number 3 spot definitively away from FlyQuest, who are looking to grab their win here, take it to game number 3, and grab that spot for themselves. The Spider Lane going to be finding balls out there on the backside of the red team red buff as Zig moves further up into this area with the rest of the team right behind him. Phoenix1 not willing to just play the stand around and fan out game this time around.
And Moon has actually elected to change his summoner here, so he is playing with the exhaust, and he was allowed to do that because there was the pick change. All players were given the option to actually switch up their summoners, and he had chosen the Ignite because he thought that would work better in combination with the Azir, whereas he feels more comfortable playing with that exhaust alongside the Anivia.
Interestingly enough, that still will be the one exhaust on their team because Lemon Nation has opted for the Ignite on the Karma as well. So one thing to keep in mind is in that bottom lane 2v2, it's going to be Ignite versus Exhaust on the support, so a slight difference away from what we would normally expect to see there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit surprised to see the Ignite on Lemon Nation. I'm not sure that this is a lane where they can actually have that sort of kill pressure, but it may simply be opening up the option to target bot lane as well, right? Anytime you have Ignite, you have higher kill pressure. We've said, hey, top lane looks like it has pretty good gank assist. Mid lane has pretty good gank assist. Now if you have a Karma with the Ignite plus Exhaust combination is extremely powerful for any early gank. So that may have just opened up a third lane for him to kind of go for an attack.
Very clean early jungle start there from Moon, dropping the boxes at both camps. The one little box died before he ever got to do anything, but the other boxes all did their jobs very well, so...
That box did its best, Flowers.
That box did its best. Some boxes just aren't cut out for the job. Ball's going to be caught by the bear trap on a rope, and Zig jerks him right back into the fight, but there's not really any fight to be had at level 1, so Zig's just going to do whatever he can to harass him for the time being.
And both players going to try to posture, zone each other off of CS, really kind of contest that as much as they can, and we'll track this in the bot lane. Is Ezreal and Nami able to push them in and really poke out the Sivir and the Karma and get an edge there? Or will the Karma and the Sivir be able to shove out and really kind of control the wave through their superior pushing power?
Right now, Ezreal and Nami are having a very nice time in this lane, shoving their opponents back. Yeah, 13-5 in CS is really not a good spot to be for FlyQuest early on. Luckily, it's still only the first couple of waves, so they're going to have plenty of time to fix that up as the game goes on. Meteos is clearing through his own jungle, as you can see there. A ping coming out from Moon into the enemy jungle on the back side of the red buff, showing that he's going to be moving up towards there, kind of seeing if he can find anything. Meteo's still just clearing out those Raptors. Ryu eating a lot of damage.
He's actually wrapping around bot side. They have been pushed up. He's going for this early level 3 gank. We'll see if he can pull it off. In goes Moon now.
This could be very, very effective with that Ignite ready to go. Stunt looking to get himself back. Exhaust and Ignite come down, but it won't be finding the kill. Arrow looking to find even more damage onto Moon.
Arrow's jumped into this. Meteos is here.
Forward. Elimination going to be brought low. Meteos looking to come in, maybe find the kill if he can, but Elimination getting himself back. P1 tries to find the counterattack, but it won't find any more success. The initial one did by Fly.
A couple summoners actually blown for both teams there. The flash critically was used for stunt, but he still has this exhaust, Ignite, and heal all used for FlyQuest. So very tense plays here in the bot lane, and Meteos is actually looking to wrap around. He has come through the Dragon Pit. He's going for the return gank, and Shaco is not here.
Flashes are up for All-Tech Elimination. Other summoner spells are not. Meteos wants this damage if he can find it, and All-Tech is going to be first-blooded.
All-Tech just sees no way out for himself there, not even going to commit. The flash tries to turn and get a kill onto Arrow, does not happen. And once again, it's P1 striking first in the bot lane.
And there's some of that decision-making that we talk about when we talk about Meteos. He's been away from pro play for a little while. The game might have changed up a little bit, but he still knows those basic rules of jungling. When to come back, when to make your play, who's going to be vulnerable.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he's playing the Elise so well. He's a guy who's been playing time and time again, and Elise is able to continuously go for these ganks. He's very healthy, you have a great clear, has double buffs, and knowing Shaco was chunked out, he felt confident that this would not be counter gank. So easily moves down, picks up first blood for himself, and Meteos has been off to a great start both these games.
1-0-0, feeling pretty good about game number 2 here. As Zig going to be eating some damage from balls, getting himself back now, doesn't want really anything else to do with the fight now that he expended his abilities.
One thing to actually track here, even though that looked like a bad trade for Zig, he has not TP'd back yet. So when you are in this position where your opponent TPs first, you generally want to trade out your health as a resource, force them to use potion charges, get as much damage as possible, then you base at low HP and TP back into what is hopefully an advantageous lane for you.
Meteos will now be skrittering towards this top half of the river, throws down a control ward to just kind of keep an eye on whatever might be happening. Considering that's a control ward, he'll also be making sure that Moon's not able to put any vision down in that area without it at least being detected at the start. Wants to try to keep as much of an eye on this guy as he can, like you were talking about, putting the wards in those unorthodox places, just trying to see him a little bit further out before he comes.
Meteos behind high here, though. He has no idea.
I might be in some trouble. Flash going to be used. Here comes more damage coming in. Thunderlord's going to be procced up into the air. He goes. And Ryu and Meteos should be able to scramble this egg nice and easy. Meteos 2-0.
Commits the flash, but an easy kill there for P1. And Meteos is just off to such a great start here, even committing to a more aggressive jungle enchant because of this. He goes for the Skirmisher Saber, not looking for the warding. He's looking to fight.
We said it earlier, you talk about Shaco in the early game, but you can't sleep on Elise. And right now, Meteos is doing anything but sleeping. Phenomenal start in game number 2. We're going to make this a 2-0 for Phoenix1 as Balls gets himself jumped on by Zig, but Nautilus is still pretty darn tanky.
Yeah, Nautilus early game, very powerful, especially when you look at the trifecta of items he's basically purchased. Double Durance plus the Corrupting is a lot of early game power here for Balls, so expect him to be able to go even or win out on a lot of the early dueling.
Wards in the enemy jungle, placed down now by Phoenix1. Zig getting that control ward down at Moon's red buff. And if Meteos is hanging around the area when that respawns, I can guarantee you he's going to have the edge in that 1v1.
Yeah, he certainly is. With the extra gold, with the Skirmisher Saber, that's going to be pretty massive. And nice little chunk onto Arrow, but you have Nami. Nami allows you to trade aggressively with the E, and at Tidecaller's Blessing, you can get healed back up, no problem. And that in combination with a fantastic Ezreal player who's hitting those Qs constantly in lane, makes it a pretty difficult lane.
61 to 50 in the CS, so still a solid lead being built up by Arrow over his counterpart right now. Other biggest difference in the game going to be that 70 to 50 lead for Balls' Nautilus over the Kled.
Yeah, but we can track now that Moon is picking up the Tiamat, so he's not rushing straight towards a Duskblade or doing anything like that. The early Tiamat is quite standard as well on Shaco, just really boosts up your clearing power. You can go a lot of different directions from this. You certainly don't have to complete that Tiamat item early or sometimes even ever. But I have seen people even do things like Triforce, Titanic Hydra. Those kind of builds are very popular on a lot of different champions right now, so pretty excited to see where Moon takes us.
Moon grabbing that red buff also gets him level 6. That is one thing about Elise. Your level 6 isn't exactly as impactful as a lot of other champions' level 6s, so Meteo's not going to be feeling as good about it as Moon is, but we'll have to wait and see if he can actually make any big, tricky plays off the back of that ultimate.
And he is going to be feeling good about the fact that it warded out Shaco on that red. The pink ward doesn't get cleared. They know exactly where he is. They can anticipate where he's going to go because of this. And we will see if Moon can get anything done. One of the great things about the ultimate is it allows you to solo out the dragon. You actually have the potential to take down Rift Herald pretty easily too, because your clone can proc the damage onto him. It looks like they're setting up a fight here in mid lane, but Meteos is lying in wait.
Hai and Moon making the play onto Ryu. Ryu goes down before he can find any sort of a counterattack onto Hai. Meteos is not there in time.
And that is the play we talked about, setting it up, the advantage of the Anivia over the Azir. You land the stun, it's followed by the fear, vice versa works too, and now straight to that dragon. So he's gonna make use of his ultimate early, executes on a gank, and finally is getting something done here on the Shaco.
Shaco can be so very effective at doing these because of the tanking power of that clone. Just throw him right in there, he's dragon food, but you get the objective, that's what matters.
Exactly, you stay out on the map, you're able to get that backstab off constantly, and Balls is in trouble here. Zig still has the ultimate.
They're trying to use the ultimate to dodge away from the Nautilus ulti, but it doesn't end up getting him away from that knockup just yet. Almost able to find the kill.
And still, Flash Force, ultimate out of Nautilus there too. Now you are more vulnerable to getting dove, to being bullied out here. The wave is even slow pushing towards Zig a little bit, so Balls is going to have to expend his TP. We'll see what Zig can do in the following stages of this lane.
Hai, though, after helping Moon grab that kill there in the mid lane, now feeling pretty good about where he's sitting. Tier up and running, so he's going to be charging that. Catalyst the Protector also completed to build towards that first big health item that he needs.
And the red buff is actually very nice, even on Anivia, just simply because of the HP regen. So even if you take some trades there, like this, as you fall out of combat, you get the bonus HP regen, and you can kind of more comfortably stay around in lane because you have so much mana from the Catalyst plus the tier, and now your health is a little bit more safe.
Still 15.6 to 15.8 thousand gold overall, though, so these two teams couldn't be much closer in terms of what they're actually working with in power. So a big play from either side could tip the scales of this game and really give a big momentum boost to whoever's able to make it.
Definitely could. This is not like game one whatsoever. Both picks, the Shaco and the Kled, have looked pretty good so far. You know, and it's not something where there was this massive requirement for them to snowball in the early game. They actually have a pretty well-balanced composition for the most part. They have their big tank in the top lane. They have AP, they have AD, they have a hyper-scaling AD carry. So there's lots of ways for FlyQuest to win this game, and likewise for their counterparts, Phoenix1.
Right, we're not playing the Mordekaiser game anymore. We're not playing that you gotta win early or you're not gonna win at all. Moon trying to make another gank here on the mid lane. The Jack in the Box. It's gonna find the fear from the wall. Nice combo, but the flash will still get Ryu out alive.
But that's that Summoner Force, and they can go right back to it. There's no major cooldown expended to actually make that gank happen. So Moon can sit around, he could go for the return. Even if he doesn't, Ryu has to play with the respect that he could be looking for it.
Moon going to be heading towards the bottom side. He'll walk over a control ward on his way down here. Let's go ahead and take the time to clear this out. There's no way that Stun and Arrow can do anything to stop him. Meteos hanging around the enemy jungle, seeing if Moon's going to be coming around, or maybe High tries to make his way up there, but won't find anything.
May just actually delay the base here from High. That's what he's going to go for. And that alone is pretty annoying. High doesn't actually have his TP. Thankfully for them, the blue buff is coming up. So if High can be donated this blue buff, it's not as big of a loss. And they are looking to actually set up a pick here on Meteos. Ooh, couldn't get it.
Not getting the stun. Meteos repels out. High makes his way right back into the mid lane, clears away the minions as well as he can, but the ultimate drop from Ryu just
stun
him
pretty far up here.
Stun. Moves himself into enemy territory, trying to throw down some wards. Instead, going to be finding Sivir and Shaco. Now Altec going to be forced to pop the ulti and the flash to get himself away. TP going to be channeled. This could be a fight. Canceled though. Zig deciding to remain top lane.
He will back off, and this is a pretty hotly contested buff. They're trying to get this onto High so we can stay around in mid lane.
Meteo's going to be chunked. Repels
Altec's in trouble on the right side.
Confused. Exhaust going to be bursted down. There you go. Altec finds the kill, finds the death, I should say, against Arrow, who makes the play onto his counterpart, jumping in there to grab the damage, spins his own heal to do it, but that's not going to matter at all, considering he still came out with what he was looking for.
I mean, a lot of this has all come off the fact that Meteos was able to delay the back of High. He couldn't get back to base to get mana. He's barely been able to participate in this fight whatsoever. And now, Phoenix1 are going to pick up the blue buff. The minions crashed into the bot lane. They get a kill on their AD. So much went their way in these fights.
600 gold edge now over to Phoenix1 after that fight, and here's how it went down.
And I mean, it really is so much about the fact that High cannot really contribute. He's sitting in the back, and he doesn't have hardly any mana at all, right? If this is a full mana Nivea, he wants to get in there, and Altec, having already blown his flash, is susceptible to Arrow. So he was not grouped with his team, needed to be together with Lemon to actually have the safety in order to step forward, and he makes a positioning error. Arrow makes him pay for it.
The error is punished. Arrow now 1-0-1 on this Ezreal. We talked about how good his performance was in game number 1, how Phoenix1 has got to be comfortable grabbing him that pick here in game number 2, and he just showed why.
He certainly did, and he's going to be scaling up very well. Altec is relevant in the CS, but he's 0-2. He's down a kill. Definitely not the happiest of times for him.
And you mentioned a little bit earlier how Meteos, with his fast start, ended up going with the Skirmisher Saber to have extra combat potential. Moon not going to be doing the same in this game, going for the Tracker's Knife instead, wants the extra warding capability to give his team that information edge.
And those wards can be invaluable. Like, they can be certainly massive. If you have the vision advantage, it can set you up for the team fights that get you so much more. And Meteos, he went the more snowballing jungle item, but he actually hasn't been able to execute on any kills since actually picking it up.
FlyQuest. Now seeing what they might be able to find with the Mountain Drake spawning in about 35 seconds. They'll be putting some vision down around this area, clearing out some of what's being thrown down by P1 at the same time. Moon with 1 kill under his belt and level 9. Looking to see if anybody's going to be cruising through here as he decides to head himself back to base potentially.
That pink ward up by FlyQuest's red buff has actually been sitting there for so long now. That's been like 10 minutes of that pink ward sitting there, and that actually makes it really tough for Moon to make plays, because if you don't see him on that ward, you can generally assume where he is on the map for the most part, and if he walks topside, you have it confirmed where he is. So there's so much inferred information, even if he's not spotted on it, just because it's been sitting there so long. And things like this really need to be paid attention to in professional play. You can't afford to have those wards sitting there.
And the key word I think there was inferred, because it is a very indirect consequence. It's not something that you just look at and say, oh, well, that ward hasn't seen anything in minutes. It's like, well, that's the whole point. Not seeing anything in minutes has to keep you questioning things, has to keep you guessing. What exactly is the plan here for FlyQuest? And right now, Moon and High look like the plan is hanging around here in the river, scaring their opponents off, laying down a little bit of vision.
I think they really do want to set something up around the dragon. They have Shaco, which is great for taking down these objectives. They have Anivia, which really controls space well. And they have, TP available on their Nautilus, so they can look to get something done. That said, they haven't really earned themselves an edge in any of the sides yet. This might be it.
With some very nice damage onto Meteos, taking him down to 25%.
That could signal the start of the dragon, right? That could be the edge that they wanted.
Absolutely. You take the enemy jungler down to the point where he has to suicide himself to try to steal, like guaranteed suicide. It's not really a contest they want to make anymore, so FlyQuest going to go ahead once again, utilize that Shaco clone. just start tearing this Drake's health to pieces.
So good vision around the Dragon. High makes a little play onto Meteos, chunks him out, and they will be able to secure the second Dragon in a row going FlyQuest's way.
Moon grabbing that one. That's Earth on top of the Cloud that they already had from earlier. Next one is going to be yet another Cloud, and those Cloud Drakes are going to help this Shaco move around that much more effectively from lane to lane.
Meteos around that top side. Zig does have his ultimate available, and obviously cooldowns are back from balls. They were not able to execute on the flash disadvantage, but Meteos really decided to go for anything here. Doesn't look like it.
Balls is all armor, so Meteos will do a significant amount of damage to him if he does manage to get that burst off. At the same time, Black Cleaver now done on Zig's Pled means he will be able to cut through some of that armor. But when the guy's stacking Cabby into Sunfire into probably even more, it's still going to be a tall order to kill him.
One of the things that's really nice, though, for Zig is if he wants to split push, he can continually build for the one-on-one, whereas Balls cannot actually afford to ignore the magic damage coming out of the opposing team, right? So if you're building damage, that's always going to be good in the 1v1. But when Balls goes into Spirit Visage and things like this to deal with the Victor, it doesn't really help him much against the Pled. Also worth pointing out, the pink ward finally got cleaned up there.
Finally gets cleaned up. It had a very long lifetime, though. We talked at the very start of this game about how sometimes the boxes just aren't good value boxes. That was a very good value
Ooh,
forward.
Moon looking.
Moon jumping over the wall, looking to make the plays. If he can, Stunt gonna be forced to flash. And FlyQuest grabbed himself a free summoner spell pickup.
I do pick that up. Meteos down here on the bot side. Not sure that he has actually been spotted. This Phoenix1 has taken back vision control on this side of the map with a couple pinks in the river. A High looking to play around this. And we'll see if he can find another pick.
Meteos making a wise decision there, sensing that High was probably heading his way. Instead decided to go off towards the bottom part of the river, get himself out of there towards where his team is, so he does have that guaranteed escape route. Ryu waiting over the wall for High. High's also going to be taking the safe way out.
Exactly. Showing the respect to their opponents. These are little things where Ryu and Meteos could very well be waiting in that bush. If you have not seen them, you have to give them the credit of assuming they could be in there. Well, that was actually a really good spell shield from Altec. Damn.
That was a really tight spell shield. That was great.
That was actually really impressive.
Like, for a second, you didn't even realize it happened because he had the Karma shield on him, so you didn't see the bubble, but then it's like, wait a second, there was no damage whatsoever. That was clean.
That was very well reacted to. I don't think that was warded out at all, so that was just pure reactions. But Ryu now
the LCS.
Damage here.
Ryu going to be in some trouble. Throws down the Chaos Storm to scare High back. High trying to get himself out of this, but at the same time eating a lot of damage from that. Ryu actually comes out on top.
Yeah, High probably should have just kept backing off, but he may be trying to bait him in for Moon. Look how long the deceive lasts
Moon and Meteos are both here, though. High's going to be egg. Stunt also showing up. High is going to be the only casualty so far. Ryu keeping himself alive nice and easy. Moon going to be forced back. Should be able to get himself away, or is he? Meteos still in hot pursuit. Volatile Spiderling shot off.
Oh, he has
not going
the
to be
sweeper on
finding
him.
it. There's the cocoon! And Meteos is on a rampage.
Meteos tracking him down has been all over Moon this game. Makes better on the play in the bot lane. Now again in the mid lane. 4-0 on that Elise. He's at the point where if you get hit by a cocoon, you're probably dead.
Meteos is just running amok against his old teammates right now. Just taking them apart on this Elise.
This has got to feel good. I mean, he did get replaced on that team eventually, and Meteos showing maybe he shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Want to replace me now?
Yeah.
4-0. What do you think?
High Ryu battling it out here. And High takes a lot of damage. It looked like he was probably trying to bait Ryu in and say, hey, come finish off this kill. But Meteos is already there, and Stunt has made the rotation earlier. Even with this super long deceive, Moon could not get in position for that kill. Looking for the dive onto Zig. Remember, High has no passive.
High trying to make some kind of a play. Zig jumping right back into the fight. Flashes over the flash. Frost as here comes the cavalry. High is in some trouble. Arrows grabbing the kill. Ball's going to be number 2, and Phoenix1 makes this a 7-1 game.
They are just moving around the map better. The rotations have been on point, and Meteos hunting for this kill. No summoners on Altec.
Oh, that's a hungry, hungry Spider, and Sivir is in some real danger. Meteos unstoppable with that solo kill.
Stunt has deserved a lot of credit. It feels like he's always in the right place at the right time this game. The roam to mid lane. He's the one up in the top side, much faster, able to support Zig, get them a couple kills there. At the same time, Meteos getting a kill on the bot side. Phoenix1 looking very good here in Game 2.
Even still, I want to mention, though, despite the fact it's an 8-1 lead, the gold lead is actually not that great because it only was just now, 21 minutes into the game, that P1 found their first turret.
That said, they're going to start cleaning up some of that standing gold off the map, grabbing themselves a couple turrets there. If they can start to clean up some of that standing gold, they really will blow this game wide open.
I swear, as soon as I say something, it's like they just love to prove me wrong.
Oh yeah,
there's not much of a gold lead, except for the fact that there is, because they just took down 2 turrets back to back. Good times for Phoenix1. 3,500 gold lead now, up over FlyQuest, who are now consistently playing off the back foot, going to be giving up territory all across the map. Went from a 0-turret game for Phoenix1 to a 3-turret game within about the span of 60 seconds. So that gold lead now very ferocious. Iceborne Gauntlet done for Arrow, going with a defensive option this time.
I think it makes a lot of sense here. He has had very intelligent builds throughout this series, and FlyQuest making a risky play, but I don't think they're going to get away with this at all. P1 is already moving over to this side of the map. Stun does not see them inside the pit. There's no checking being done. Have they pulled it off? Arrow now sees it.
All right, Baron is down to about 1/3 HP. The Shaco clone's gonna be the thing taken low. Baron's gonna be secured. Moon grabs it, but they've already lost high. Are they gonna lose anything else? Arrow goes over the wall. Full man mode, baby! Double kill! Can he make it a triple? Yes, he can! Arrow going off!
FlyQuest sneak the Baron, but Arrow is there. He cleans up. 5-0-2 now on the Ezreal. And it's all about how much Phoenix1 can get back. How many turrets can they knock down with the core of FlyQuest off the map?
Arrow knew what he wanted to do right there, taking that Kled ulti, just going all the way over the wall. And now he's going to be the one who helps his team grab that fourth, I should say, turret there in the mid lane. The first one in the second tier. Phoenix1 might have lost the Baron, but they're making sure that they get ample revenge from it. Now going to be looking for the 3rd Drake of the game, the first one for their side.
And one thing to say for FlyQuest is they have been losing control of the map, and at least they have taken away the Baron from their opponents. It's a pretty heavy cost to do it, as they give over 3 kills, they give over the turret, and they give over the dragon. But they can kind of go into turtle mode here now, right? You have the Sivir, you have the Anivia. That's something you can look for. But this said, if Arrow did not check this, like if he waited another second or two, FlyQuest probably gets out clean. Instead, Arrow has the sense. He sees everyone's missing off the map for quite some time, goes in extremely aggressively, cleans up 3 kills, and he's going to be so powerful in this game once again.
And talking about breaking the Sivir and the Anivia defense, the other shining light for FlyQuest is, hey, they can't get Baron, right? Can't get Baron if they just got it. So FlyQuest, even though they don't get to have the buffs on a lot of their players now, there's still no possibility for Phoenix1 to take it.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for a red buff steal there was Arrow, but was already gone over here onto Moon, and definitely going for a bit of a different build here. He's going, Warrior. This Phage, I'm a little bit interested to see if it's actually going to be something like a Triforce, or if he is going to build into the Black Cleaver.
He does have the
Ruby Crystal makes me assume it's Black Cleaver, but I'm a little bit surprised by that because I don't feel like they really need the armor shred here. Maybe just wanted to get some CDR that was a little bit more affordable.
Well, I mean, the only tank on the enemy team is going to be the Kled, but Kled's normally more of a bruiser, more of a health stacker early on. I mean, the armor in his inventory right now is a Ninja Tabby. I don't really think that's Black Cleaver worthy, but
this
we'll have
CDR
to see.
is still very, very powerful, right? Allowing you to deceive in, deceive out, have more of those boxes and kind of move around and be very disruptive. So that is certainly something that he will be getting for building into it. And also just a little bit more tankiness, right? You get some health. And you have the ability to stay alive a little bit more because he needs to show respect to the fact that Meteos and Ryu can both essentially one-round him with these spells, especially now that Lichbane is completed. Ryu can pop Altec, High, or Moon very easily if he catches them.
Moon almost walking into that trap, instead spots it out with a well-used sweeper. And we do also have to remember the Black Cleaver does now give more health than it used to, so comparing it to the Trinity Force option, it is more appealing for those defensive stats. As opposed to where they pretty much used to be equal. I think Trinity Force was 250, Black Cleaver was 300. So not much of a difference in the olden days, but we're not in those days anymore. It actually does have a bit of an impact now as P1 is setting up a death trap, and Moon is going to be walking right into it. No way Deceive is getting you out of that one. Meteos is going to be soaking a little bit of damage from High, but considering he can just repel up into the air and then get healed by Nami, no big deal.
P1 just has full vision control now. If you look at the top side of FlyQuest jungle, that's 4 P1 pink wards up there. They really have fully controlled this, and that allows them to get a pick like that. So Phoenix1 playing the vision game extremely well. Now going to take down some turrets, and they could potentially continue to push here.
This could be a monstrous amount of momentum going the way of Phoenix1, grabbing turret number 5, a 6,500 gold lead, and getting themselves out. No casualties attached.
Not at all. 12-1, the scoreline there. FlyQuest, I mean, they're definitely down in gold, but the scoreline almost makes it feel worse because just none of the fights are really going their way. And even just morale-wise, that can be pretty tough. But this is a team where you can at least hope for that late-game scaling type stage for Altec. That said, Sivir is pretty low range, so even though you can get this super powerful 6-item stage, if you can't actually get the auto attacks because you're being zoned out by people like Meteos and Ryu with the Victor ultimate and laser, you can't make use of your damage.
Right. It's a less exaggerated version of the problem that Altec had on Mordekaiser in game number 1. Range can be a real issue, especially when you're up against somebody like Ezreal, who's effective from 1,000 units away through Mystic Shot.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the strength of Arrow here on this composition. Already has his Lord Dominic, so he's at the point where he can punch through balls on this tank pretty easily, especially in combination with the Black Cleaver. They're going to have the percent armor pen from the Last Whisper, as well as the armor shred of that Black Cleaver. And High
getting himself caught out. The burst coming down. A little bit more will egg him out, but instead he gets away. The burn's still ticking onto him, but it's not going to be doing enough until True Shot Barrage flies through. Moon's clone going to be going down. High comes back to life. Gets value out of that egg, but meanwhile, bottom side, Zig's going to be continuing this split push against Balls. P1 wants this final tier 2 if they can find it. The Victor Laser going to be making very short work of these minion waves. Meteos finding the Cocoon and a little bit of burst onto Moon as well. The Laser's going to be sidestepped, the minion waves cleared out, and FlyQuest maintains the defense.
Yeah, FlyQuest really has to stay buttoned up very tight here. The other big concern, and the real concern for them, is in 1 minute's time, how do you get out on the map and actually get vision back on the Baron, on the Dragon? How do you contest those objectives when you're so corralled up in your base? And they're looking for a pick here onto Zig, but he is onto it, very quickly backing off.
Just gets himself on out of there, doesn't want anything to do with that kind of trouble. And of course, if he does get into more trouble, the ultimate can also be used to try to get him away to a more safe spot.
Yeah, so before those Baron and Dragon objectives come up, we're going to have to see FlyQuest group up, look to contest for vision, move up, get some wards around those objectives with Moon.
Ooh, that is bad news. Meteos just hanging out in the enemy jungle. This is his map, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to move in as a team. You cannot afford to do that by yourself for Moon. I mean, he walks in solo, face checks Meteos, and Meteos gets an easy kill there. And now they're not going to really be able to establish vision before the buff comes back up. Baron will spawn before Moon is even up on the map. Phoenix1 has full vision control. They can rush it. They can look for picks. They can do whatever they want.
Meteos looking to make the play on High. Not going to be finding it at the start, but the tidal wave still coming through. Stunt grabbing the kill of all people. Meteos did most of the work, but Stunt's the one getting the extra little bit of a number on his scorecard. 1-0-8 now on that Nami. A phenomenal game on support for him. We talked about how we wanted to see him step up. We wanted to see what he could do on this Phoenix1 roster, and he's working some magic.
He has looked great, but a lot of credit to Meteos there. Knows the full limits of his champion, flashing in on a full HP Anivia, diving him under his tier 2 turret there, and cleaning him up. And now they have the Baron, and really the means to close out this game. And this is what I'm talking about. Where is Lemon? Where is the rest of the team? Why are you walking in by yourself when you have not had vision in this jungle for so long? Like, you cannot do that. You need to show respect to the other team. And now P1 threatening the dive will get an easy turret.
Cavalry charge. Ball's going to be forced to flash up the wall. Zig once in. And Phoenix1, they're going with them. Instead, they back themselves off. Don't want to bite off too much more than they can chew. Tier 2 goes down instantly. Tier 3 now the target. FlyQuest either holds him here or they're in for a world of hurt.
I don't think they can. I mean, High has just respawned. He's not there quite yet. Now it does get into position to try to wave clear out, but with Zig able to even move over to mid lane and start pushing on some other sides, could be tough, but Phoenix1 looks confident to just go straight 5v5.
Look at how much damage Balls is taking. He's supposed to be the tank, Azale. He's going to be exploded, but Moon is first. Dominating for Arrow. Balls still barely keeping himself alive. Zig going to be taken low. The Boomerang blade pops the GA. Meteos with his first death of the game as Phoenix1 steps a little bit too far forward.
But Arrow's still very healthy. It was a trade of kills. They could stay around. They are going to elect to play it safe. Back off for now and get their wave control back on their side. I mean, bot lane pushing for FlyQuest does help them. Dive in onto Balls, and although he took a massive amount of damage, he's able to live so long and stay up that there's a lot of carries free firing in the back line here. High able to get a lot of damage out, Altec able to get a lot of damage out, and although it is that even trade of kills, still, I would say, a victory for FlyQuest to defend their base with the Baron buff.
And shut down the 7-0 Elise. Absolutely huge for them.
Second kill of the game there.
Second kill. They just doubled their kill count, Dale. You can't ask for better results than that. Phoenix1, though, they're going to even up the Drake count. Yeah. Cloud Earth versus Cloud Earth, and that is all that it's going to be for the small ones now. Elder Drake will come online about 6 minutes from now, a little bit shy of 38 minutes. It's going to be equally effective, down to the letter for both teams.
And Altec does have his 3 items, his big 3 items now. He has the Essence Reaver, the IE, the Shiv, so he's really going to start to pump out a lot of damage. That said, he needs something a little bit more defensive. He needs to be able to either pick up like a Maw or a QSS or something to give him some hope of not getting one-shot by Ryu or Meteos, and that will allow him to be a bit more aggressive in the fights.
Speaking of QSSs, got one up and running on Arrow now, so if he does get himself caught out by some kind of a stun or fear or anything else, he'll be able to escape it. And that'll be his last item to complete. He is almost full build now. A very scary Ezreal. Still no deaths. Actually, before that last fight, considering they only had 1 kill, there was only 1 person that had died on the side of Phoenix1. Really problematic for FlyQuest. They've got to manage to shut these guys down a little bit, but it is so very difficult, especially with Redemption and Locket on that Nami. Ezreal's always going to be well protected.
Yeah, he really is, and there's so many threats, right? Zig, Meteos, and Ryu are all massive threats, which opens up Arrow even more to play aggressively, to be someone who gets ignored in these fights and really take over.
P1 with Baron up minions still available, now going to be looking for bottom lane. Seeing if they can lay siege to this turret, but the Baron's about to expire.
FlyQuest has done a great job holding on through the Baron. They have such really wave clear, and they're using the Anivia especially well in conjunction with those walls and the Sivir wave clear. Everyone is playing it pretty tight, and the fact that they didn't give up the Baron there buys them quite a bit of time to continue scaling. The next big threat is obviously the Elder. Will they move out and try to contest that, or will they just turtle up again and be too afraid of these picks?
Standing against a P1 team that has both Baron and Elder is going to be very difficult, if not impossible. The question is that a lower win rate chance of just going out and contesting it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, can you afford to actually walk out, even as a group, and face check P1? Do you win that fight? That's the question you have to ask yourself. You can move out as a 5-man squad, but if they're all waiting, do you win? Probably not at this stage of the game with the big gold advantage over to P1 and so many powerful carries. So, you know, FlyQuest has to weigh their options, and they're very good at making these decisive choices in the late game, but super risky either way.
And look at all the boxes that Moon is keeping up as frequently as possible during this defense, making sure that if anybody dives from Phoenix1, it's going to be straight into a bunch of those.
Oh, look at Altec. The ult gets dropped on him by Ryu.
Victor ulti used. Moon's clone going to be taken low, killed off.
I think Altec actually spell shielded the initial ultimate there, so stopping a lot of the damage does keep him alive, but that is one of their big wave clears pushed out, and he needs to get back to base, heal up, and get back to mid lane where Arrow is pushing in, and he could crack this turret very quickly.
Luckily for FlyQuest, they've got another big wave clear in that Anivia. High able to keep the top lane going, able to keep the mid lane going, just drops the wall so there's no more Mystic shots heading his way, and the FlyQuest Miracle defense continues. You saw the Baron power play, plus 917 gold. That's pretty underwhelming, honestly.
Yeah, it's really not that big, and the further the game goes, the less the gold lead matters. But that said, this is a 10,000 gold lead. This is still a massive lead and very much in the favor of P1 with big objectives coming up, full vision control on their side. It is in their hands to close out the game, but FlyQuest does have great tools to stall a game like this out.
Truly do. Baron up in a little bit over 1 minute, and then Drake will be up about a minute after that. So these two could be taken almost back to back, and then that double buff threat could be very, very real, especially with Baron being the first one. That's the way you prefer it, since it is a much longer buff in terms of duration.
Yeah, there's just two sides of the same coin there. It can be easier to take the Baron if you already have the Elder too, because of the combat power. So you can look at it different ways, and different teams are going to prioritize it differently. You know, I think a safer Baron can be sometimes very valuable, so maybe you just get full vision control around the Elder, you try to take that down, then you use that to force a fight around the Baron or something like that. Because if you concede both global buffs, it's almost impossible to defend your base.
Absolutely. We'll have to see how Phoenix1 ends up wanting to play this one out, because all the decisions are pretty much up to them at this point. FlyQuest is purely reactive.
That's a great point. It really is about that. And Altec actually going the more aggressive route, I think in this situation, it certainly can be defended. He goes for the Lord Dominix instead of a defensive item because he's saying, you know what, I could build a QSS or a Maw here, but I will not get through the tanks. I will not deal enough damage for us to win the fight anyway. So this way, he must be on point with his spell shields. If he misses a spell shield on a key spell like a Cocoon or Victor Ultimate, could be the game, but
could be GG. Right from that one
right to the Baron.
Play. P1 trying to start this up, two men strong.
There's just no chance. FlyQuest is way too late to move out on the map, even if they wanted to. And I don't think they had any intention of even trying to contest this buff because they have not moved from their base whatsoever. They know what has happened every time they face check their opponents. But the question becomes, can you give up the Elder too? And if you do, is there really any way to hold on against the Elder plus Baron?
And that question's going to be bearing down on them a lot quicker than they'd like it to. 20 seconds from now, Elder will be live. P1 still hanging around the top side of the map, though, looking to see if they can push this up any further. P1's also going to take that down very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So if FlyQuest wants to respond to it, they're not going to have time to inch their way out. They're just going to have to go.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much already decided not to contest it. The only world I see in which FlyQuest grabs that is if they can get kills here in this Baron defense and then transition that over. But Arrow can start to get a little bit aggressive here. Every auto he gets with a Sheen proc onto that turret will do massive damage. Look at Zig, he's just ignoring him.
Zig does not care. I mean, what is Balls going to do to you? He's not really doing any real meaningful damage. Jousts away, gets himself back. High looking to come in, maybe secure a little bit more here. It's a 2 versus 1, but Meteos is looking to join the fight. Top side, Phoenix1 still going to be repelled. Such impressive wave clear drafted by FlyQuest.
It really is, but you cannot have High and Altec in all 3 lanes. And Balls cannot hold on for much longer against Zig, it does seem like. Phoenix1 may back off and go towards the Elder, but they have TP'd Zig back in, so I think they're going to try to make a push for this turret here.
It's so low. All they need is a couple of auto attacks. 2 or 3 will seal the deal. Ryu getting himself out of the way of the Flash Frost. P1 wants this if they can. Zig's able to make it happen. The base is open. The tidal wave is out. FlyQuest really needing to be careful here. If they take a fight in open ground and overestimate their abilities, it's game over. It's series over. Mid lane tier 3, now the choice for Phoenix1, trying to crack 2 of these lanes open while Baron buff still persists. They still got about half the time left on it. That's plenty.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like they can delay any longer. Zig can push in on this inhibitor turret. A second one goes down. They're onto the inhibitors now. A Fly cannot delay forever. They're going to have to choose their moment. But P1 may not even give it. You use the Baron, you crack the inhibitor turrets, now you grab the Elder to secure those actual inhibitors. And does FlyQuest move out on the map and challenge it? It seems like even if they want to at this point, it's too late.
Yeah, once you have this, you just walk into the enemy base, say, if you want to defend these, you've got to fight us in open ground. And it's just not something that FlyQuest can do.
FlyQuest has really just played a beautiful game around vision. It feels like they got the advantages and they have controlled their opponent's options, limited them in such a way that it feels like there's not really a right response for FlyQuest. You can't face check. You also can't just sit around and give up all the objectives for free. So what are they supposed to do? How do they win here?
At the same time, you really gotta love everything that Phoenix1 has done about this game. Because Phoenix1 have made this so successful. They've been having to ram their faces into the wall of this wave clear for the past 15 minutes, but they haven't thrown. They haven't done a stupid dive. They haven't done anything crazy. They lost one person in the top lane. Now they're looking to make the play. High gonna be taken low. Zig coming in from the side. The cavalry charge completes. Ball's gonna be soaking some damage. Zig is attacked, but what is it even gonna do? Ball's no GA. Moon into the back line, but I don't think that Shaco is fed enough to do a whole lot of anything. Stun's gonna be going down first. Zig having to flash away, trying to keep himself alive. Zig is very low. Looking to build back that courage, try to get Scarl back online. Inhibitor falls in mid lane, going to be targeted now in bottom lane as well. Arrow and the rest of Phoenix1 looking to just smash this base.
Moon did get out though, he stayed alive, did escape with that GA. But Phoenix1 get both the inhibitors and have just been so good down the stretch in this game.
Absolutely have. Great game played by them so far. Taking it slow, taking it steady. They just gave up their 3rd kill, but what does it matter?
And here is the engage there from Zig, straight over onto Balls. That's the guy you want as FlyQuest to absorb the hits, but still, the backline of Phoenix1 crashing in. You can see Stunt gets caught out by a nice Anivia wall there from High, followed up by the ultimate from Balls, so they get that kill. If they were able to be taking down Zig, that would have been pretty big for them, but Phoenix1 gets the objectives, they only lose their support, and they are looking in prime position to close out this game.
And now FlyQuest has the age-old problem of 2 inhibitors down, 1 lane left to defend. It's very, very hard with all the extra pressure from the super minions in the other lanes. Phoenix1 knows that. They know that they've still got this Elder Drake for 20 more seconds or so, and they're going to be looking to use it.
It feels like as long as Phoenix1 play it slow and safe, push in all the sides as they have been doing, it's very hard to lose from this position. And they have played the later stages of the game so well, controlling vision, not really giving FlyQuest options, as we had been saying. So I give them a massive chance to win the game on this push. Whereas FlyQuest, they kind of need to make something happen. You can't sit around and wait as the waves crash in. You almost have to engage, but that is not really what the Anivia and the Sivir want to do. You don't really want to be charging face long into the 6-item Victor and Elise.
And you're seeing the Anivia wave clear right there. You're seeing how effectively they can kill the minions, but it's only a matter of time before the ones in the other lanes start becoming a real problem. And then you can't do that. And just missing out on 1 wave of that instant clear is this turret going to fall.
It really is. High and Altec both have a lot of items now, though, so they are super powerful. If Phoenix1 makes a mistake, they could turn it around, and this may be the fight for FlyQuest. We'll see if they can do it.
Well, it's going to be starting things off. FlyQuest has to make their defense here. Ball's going to be brought low. Turret still down low as well, but not going to be taken out yet. High nearly killed. Arrow finding a lot of damage onto the enemy mid laner. Zig looking to get the bear trap on a rope, but it's not going to be pulling anyone back just yet. Phoenix1 get what they came for. They've got the turret. Do they stick around for the inhibitor? Altec still alive, still at high HP. Ball's coming right back into the fight. Shield is popped. The Titan Wrath
this one alive.
Tanky. Phoenix1 still looking to go for it. Zig going to be TPing right back into the fight. Arrow gets himself caught out, having a flash over the wall, keeping himself alive. Ball's going to be targeted next. Ryu grabbed the kill onto Lemon. Balls goes down. And Phoenix1 going to lose their support yet again, but they've still got the 4v3 for now. Moon having to get himself back. They take down the 3rd inhib. FlyQuest now has the impossible task of defending these remaining 2 turrets. So many minions pouring into the base.
They still do have their wave clear alive, though, and it looks like Phoenix1 will back off. They've got the 3 inhibs there, though. Critically, Arrow was able to get so much damage out, stay alive, and that allowed them to secure that 3rd inhibitor. And Arrow has just been playing immaculately this whole series, but FlyQuest still hold on, and their bottom 2 inhibitors do not have that much time until they're back up. So the dream is still alive for FlyQuest, stalling and stalling and stalling. Altec is at 6 items. High is very close. The gold lead is starting to mean less, but Baron on the map, 3 inhibitors down, so hard to hold on.
P1 going for Baron again. Looks like it's again going to be no contest. FlyQuest knows what they have to deal with. They know it's an uphill battle, practically a 90-degree angle at this point. But sometimes that's the hand you're dealt. You got to play it.
It is, man. And I mean, certainly still massive chances here for Phoenix1, but FlyQuest has done an incredible job of holding on. Arrow, and that's the main guy it feels like you have to be able to deal with. If you can't take down Arrow in these fights, he will take over. It's 6 super minions coming in at a time, massive wave clear requirements, plus the huge amounts of damage backing it up from P1. And with really push to the limit
those
here.
minions having the Baron enchantment, man, this is hard.
Yeah.
FlyQuest
needs to not only hold the minions, but hold them pretty far up, so as the inhibitors respawn, they can hope to keep the inhibitors alive. They can't afford to just have them instantly die once again, but they are getting pushed back. They don't have the damage to actually keep out on their map.
And you constantly got to be dodging these lasers and mystic shots as well.
Yeah.
The poke is serious from this Phoenix1 team. The minions are still going to keep on pushing up. They're trying to just keep people near each wave to make sure they're enchanted with that Baron buff.
Phoenix
Here we go. The purple tide has come. Phoenix1 looking to end the game if they can. FlyQuest with 1 final attack. Arrow going to be jumped up, keeping himself alive if he can. FlyQuest now going to be shoved back. Zig keeping himself alive. Moon going to be taken low, going to be taken down. Arrow, legendary.
Meteos is on Altec.
1 dead so far on the side of FlyQuest. Make it 2. Altec is gone. Ryu grabbing the kill. The Nexus turrets will fall. Ladies and gentlemen, Phoenix1 only has the Nexus to go. High is egged, and P1 will take the series.
2-0, Phoenix1 looking so strong throughout this series. Arrow and Meteos really shining here in this game too. And a great debut for Stunt on his new team. Really looking solid. A lot of credit also has to go the way of FlyQuest, holding on for so long in their base, but they could never really regain control of the map, and Phoenix1 just choked them out with superior vision play.
Honestly, you got to give credit to both teams. Phoenix1 played the game slowly, they played it confidently, and they didn't give up any silly mistakes. FlyQuest also did one hell of a defense, making that game last as long as it did with a 14,000 gold deficit by the end. Even greater, I believe, by the time the dust finally settled. But yeah, Stunt with an awesome performance. We talked about Meteos being played again today instead of a Nori. He was able to do really, really solid work, especially in game number 2. Phoenix1 just as a unit rose up.
Yeah, they certainly did. And Meteos showing up so well against a jungler like Moon, who has been very consistent throughout the season, one of the top junglers in the league, I think is a great sign for Meteos. He has been solid. He has had some hit or miss games, and he's had some very excellent games. I think this is the first series where we can say where all games he looked very good. The Elise, you can tell why he's banned away from.
Yeah.
Both games he was first to make the move on bot side, getting the early kills for his team. And in game 2, he not only snowballed it, but he controlled vision, allowed them to get those objectives, and really was a key component to FlyQuest falling down.
He didn't even die till, what, 30-something minutes? Just an absolutely awesome performance, especially up against something very unorthodox, very non-meta, and that kind of plays into the FlyQuest game plan of keep them guessing, play stuff that they're not used to, make them get out of their comfort zone. Meteos wasn't affected by it.
No, he certainly wasn't. And I think as a guy who plays a lot of solo queue, you run into the Shaco. You're not going to be super worried about it. And it felt like, although the Shaco was effective as far as forcing out summoners and putting on pressure in the earlier stages, in the late game, it's so hard for him to ever get anything going.
And we've talked about Meteos, we talked about Stunt, but we can't forget to also talk about Arrow, the man who was just always in the right spot, doing so much damage on the Ezreal throughout the entirety of the game, really showing off exactly what a top-tier AD carry can do.
Yep, 2 games in a row, plays the Ezreal both games. Really not much to criticize about this guy. He can play it all.
Well, for a breakdown of the P1 win, we're going to go ahead and hand things over to Dash and Kobe on the analyst desk.